Hello, guys, and welcome to the FPL Roundup. We're going to be covering Game Week 2. It was a interesting week to say the least. The leaderboard hasn't changed too much, but this week Matt was in the forefront. Was last week, and now he's front. Matt, what was your transfer, and then how did your team do?
Well, my transfer was just fixing the mistake I made with my backup keeper to pick the wrong Leicester guy. But other than that, I was pretty happy with my team. Just let it play out. Didn't take any major risks. Didn't take any minuses this week, most importantly. But it wasn't ideal captain choice again. Second week in a row where I probably could have made a better call on the captain. I mean, Haaland at home to Bournemouth. I think most people did captain him, but I'm just it's left a few points on the table in that regard. But a couple of clean sheets, I'm happy with that.
Was anyone you were disappointed in your team that you thought would do better, or someone that you're looking?
Well, Grealish. I mean, Grealish was benched. Classic Pep roulette there. Week 2, earlier than usual.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't go many more weeks with this with Grealish because he did come on at half time. He did get 45 minutes. I thought, oh well, that's decent. He might pick up an assist, but no, another blank, unfortunately.
Was he close to creating anything? I didn't really see. Can't remember any kind of
No, it was City was sort of very quiet in the second half of that game.
Yeah.
They were like 3-0 up at half time, weren't they? I thought they were going to absolutely annihilate them in the second, and it just felt like both teams sort of said, "We'll take it as it is,
Yeah,
and get out of here."
Who was your first sub if Grealish didn't come on?
I think it was Pereira.
Okay.
My other two subs behind him got 13 points, so that's not ideal either.
Oh, you got Mbeumo and Williams.
Bumo got a goal, and Nico Williams got 7.
I think putting Mbeumo on the bench against the United after the Brighton game was quite a. Did you have a lot of thinking?
Do you know what? United, there's still that thing with United, even though there's so much uncertainty around. It's still United. I don't know. I still don't expect Brighton to turn up and smash a bunch of goals past them. Maybe nicking a win, but I felt better about guys like Grealish at home to Bournemouth, Diaz, Saka at home to Leicester. I felt better about these guys, but this is what you get. I always play with the squad of 15 rather than the starting 11, and you're going to leave points on the bench here and there. It's going to happen.
How are you feeling about Son? There's a big case for the team. No Salah. You've gone with
Yeah.
Son instead. Still a faith?
Yeah, I still have faith in Son. Son's a great player. Son will get goals. But he will be directly in my case. He's directly going up against Salah.
Yeah.
So if Son has an off week, Salah needs to have an off week. Luckily this week that did happen.
Mm-hmm.
So not too much cost there. But yeah, if Salah starts to get going and Son still stagnating, there's probably a decision to be made there.
Yeah, but yeah. Carry on, Jesse.
Yeah, I was going to say just because none of us have Son, so I just wanted to bring it up that in the Chelsea game he did kind of miss a chance for a goal where 9 times out of 10 he'll probably score that. He could have gotten an assist as well. I feel like even in the tough Chelsea games he had his chances. I just think you were just a bit unlucky, but especially with the Spurs fixtures coming up, I'm just looking at it now. I believe they have some good fixtures coming up, so I definitely think it's worth it.
I think there's one against City in the middle of it, but even then, Tottenham have a great record against City.
Well, you have Wolves, Forest, West Ham, Fulham, then City. So
yeah.
So
there's a nice run before then. Yeah. I still have faith in Son. It's way too early to be. It's only Grealish. Grealish is the only one that's worrying me at the moment, just because it's what we saw from him last season as well.
Yeah, but yeah, you've done great score, 66. If you keep that on pace,
yep, it's coming home.
I knew you were going to say it. Anyway, I came second, but I guess I had a -4, so I actually was third. But I went with last week I went for Kane to Haaland, but I didn't have the funds, so I had to go sell Trippier to Saliba, and it did not work out in the least. I lost about -15 points on the board, and not great. I was checking the half time, and I realized like, oh, Saliba's keeping clean sheet against Leicester City. Trippier is keeping clean sheet, but Brighton were dominating. I thought, oh, this might actually swing a little bit in my favor, and then Saliba goes and does it all and scores their own goal.
I didn't even think about the Trippier aspect of it. I obviously knew about the Kane aspect of it.
Yeah.
Placing him, I didn't even think about Trippier.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, yeah, clean sheet for him as well.
And a bonus point
Yeah.
for Trippier too.
This is why you don't take hits, right?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't take any more emotional hits. It's the fear of missing out. That's the only reason I took that transfer, right?
FOMO.
Yeah, FOMO.
Oh god, yeah, that's just a bit of a disaster, that one.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting lesson because you obviously had to take a hit because you missed out on transferring him the day before Kane lost price. So, maybe the lesson is, if you want to take that transfer, take the transfer, but to get that player,
or wait a week and stack the transfer.
Yeah.
Do
it early or do it late, whatever.
Yeah. It was definitely not worth it. I'll definitely learn my lesson about FOMO. I'm not scared against taking hits still. But next time if I do take a hit, it'll be more. I'll give myself time, maybe a few days, instead of doing it. Oh, Haaland, I need Haaland. Everyone gonna get Haaland. Bournemouth next.
One thing that it does show though, that is nothing guaranteed. There's no such thing as nailed on points. I think Haaland at home to Bournemouth is nailed.
Yep.
But it just takes. I mean, he did get an assist. It's not like he blanked, but
second touch.
Yeah, it's just when you combine it with the -4 for the hit itself and Saliba, it's an unlucky own goal as well. He had a great game other than that, but FPL doesn't measure performance quite like that. It can do in some respects, but yeah.
Yeah,
not your finest moment.
And also, just remember, there was a time where Foden could have squared the ball to Haaland, and that would be the next year of Super One, right? Almost pretty much. But it doesn't calculate that, right? So and then you get bonus points and all that stuff. So it could have been
in fairness,
all three of us. It could have been a great haul, but
in fairness, if Foden squares that ball, it's a certain goal for Haaland, and what is it? It's a decent haul as captain. We're talking about 18 points, not a 10-pointer probably. Maybe a bonus point extra in there as well.
Yep, and if Saliba didn't score their own goal, and then Ramsdale let that one slip as well, those 2 goals were quite questionable from Leicester City. Could have got a clean sheet, could have got a goal and assist from Haaland, and this would be a different smiling face. But this was to hide the pain. But in terms of my other parts of my team, I think obviously I'm being saved by Edison and Cancelo, the double Man City defense. That's really helping me out. It's keeping me kind of in reaching point to you guys. Obviously, everyone has Jesus, so not much to talk about there. Things I'm probably disappointed in is double Liverpool defense. Trent did look really good. He was very creative in that match. But Robertson, on the other hand, I didn't see much from him. Bit worried he's not getting too creative or not getting into the positions that we normally see him in. I will obviously still give him maybe couple more weeks because Liverpool are probably not up to scratch. But he's probably the player out of all players in my team. Him, and then probably Saka and Neto are probably the next tier below.
Yeah,
I was gonna. Matt, you go.
I was just gonna say I don't like doubling up on fullbacks for one team. I don't know why. It's a different mentality. I think if I'm going to double up, I like to go for a centre back and a fullback in that regard. And yeah, you're right about Trent. He did sort of blank, but he got he got 2 bonus points, I believe, or
One-
one bonus point.
One bonus point.
So, it's something.
Yeah, definitely.
I was just going to say, since both of you have Saka, I would love to get your thoughts on like how you think he's faring like FPL wise. Like, what are you guys? Are you going to stay with him? Are you going to transfer him?
Sorry, you start, Shiron.
I'm gonna keep with him for maybe 1 or 2 weeks. I think this week I'm probably more focusing on the Robertson aspect. The thing I noticed with Arsenal, they're going a lot to their left side, a lot of Martinelli, a lot of Zinchenko. It doesn't mean Saka is isolated, but in a sense, him being isolated against the fullbacks is a good thing.
That's what Arsenal want. Yeah.
Yeah, so he does get into good positions, and I think it's maybe he just needs to get the swing of things, a bit more confidence. Maybe needs a bit of a luck, and then I think he could start really hauling. I think he's got more potential to haul than Martinelli, but for 2 million, well, almost 2 million, it's at the moment it's not worth it. I could use that 2 million in a lot of places in the squad, so that's the real competition for my eyes.
I think if you're short term thinking, I think Martinelli's the guy right now. He's way in form. Arsenal's left side looks dangerous. But it is worth remembering how important the right-hand side for Arsenal was at the back end of last season. Saka and Odegaard's link-up play. I think part of the issue at the start of the season is teams have sort of looked to shut them two down. They saw that as Arsenal's strength. They're really trying to slow that down, and it's kind of opened up the left side for Arsenal. And we're going to get to a point where actually you can't really shut down one side and sort of keep Arsenal quiet. So I think we'll see Saka come more into it. He feels more nailed long run than Martinelli, just in terms of minutes more than anything.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe Xhaka might be the steal pick.
You know what?
Late runs in the box.
He's in the back of my mind after that performance against Leicester. Admittedly quite far back because red cards have always got to factor into your thinking.
Anyway,
hey JC.
Yeah, talking about red cards.
Great transition.
Talking about a red card. So I might have slightly overblown my transfer plans, but we move on. My transfer was Kane to Nunez, and I did that pretty early. I think I did it almost after the last game week was done. That didn't turn out the best because obviously he got the red card, and that kind of got me a net loss of minus 10 points, or possibly what I could possibly get. But yeah, that was kind of frustrating. But I think my team is a bit slightly more different to you guys. I don't, as you know, I don't tend to have a lot of the mid-price players. I either go really, really high or really, really low. So the main difference is Zinchenko and having Cucurella on, and that was actually a big call for me because I was really stuck between having Cucurella or putting him on the bench for the possibility of having, I don't know, Patterson or Williams, and I decided that I would give a punt on Cucurella. And it's a shame because, as we spoke about in the podcast last week, early in the week, Williams had a great game. He got a clean sheet against West Ham, so got points on the bench, which is frustrating, but also kind of suggests that at least Williams could be a possible FPL asset later on.
Yeah, I think Nico Williams might be a genuine points getter for teams. It's great when you have a 4 million player that can do that.
Yeah, I love it.
There's always one every season.
Yeah. You just keep him there. His price will rise. Well, actually, I don't know if his price will rise because he's in a lot of teams. So
yeah, I don't think it will all that much.
A couple of points probably. Is anyone in your team apart from Nunez that you're a bit disappointed in, or you're looking, hey, they don't probably suit my plans?
Yeah, I think having a keen eye on the Villa game, Villa Everton game. I think Bailly, given that we think Gerrard prefers playing in the 2 rather than the 3, obviously we kind of knew they might be on a risk of rotation. But I think if his expected minutes aren't where we think they are, you can't rack up points if you're not on the pitch. So I think Bay for me is probably one of the biggest issues. Unfortunately, he dropped in price by 0.1 overnight, so it's getting harder and harder to shift him off. Limiting my options. I can't go for a 5 million defender, obviously, midfielder, obviously. So can't really transfer him out. Obviously, Nunez getting the getting the red card.
Yeah, that's about as bad as it gets. It's not just the 10-point wing from going from Kane to Nunez. It's the fact that now you've got 3 games without Nunez, and you've gone for more of a sort of starting 11 based side.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably means you're gonna have to make the transfer on Nunez.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I think having Nunez is tough because, as you said, it's not just the 10 points; it's all the possible points you could have racked up. And one of the reasons why I wanted him was because I felt like him against United was goals galore. But you know what? Having said that, watching Nunez in the Palace game, I wasn't super impressed with his general movement or lack thereof. Like, he seemed pretty stagnant. Not a lot of runs until the very end of the half, and then he obviously hit the post at the end of the first half. So
one thing I did notice, I kind of get what you mean, and he did seem to get kind of marked out. His touch wasn't great at times, but when Trent picked up the ball, even Diaz on the left-hand side, Nunez is always the first look. They're always looking for Nunez quite early on in moves. So I don't think it was a terrible decision bringing in Nunez. He was certainly someone that I was thinking about in the long term, finding a way to bring into my team. You can't legislate for a player headbutting someone. You can't say, hey, I think that's going to come in a couple of weeks' time.
Oh yeah,
expected red.
Yeah, expected red.
XR. To be fair, you do have 2.4 million in the bank as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's a good money. You can do what you want with the squad. It's already a really good squad, to be fair. I'm quite jealous. But let's go to the leaderboard, and currently the leaderboard between us 3 is JC at 128, Matt 125, 3-point difference, and me slowly but surely at the bottom, 115. Well done, JC. Keep going.
Is this with or without the -4? Just so you know.
This is with the
viewers know.
With the -4. So imagine if I didn't do that transfer, I'd have +15.
Yeah.
How life changes. Anyway, let's look on to Game Week 3 matches. Is there any matches here that stand out to you?
It's quite a few tough ones. There's nothing. I think the only thing that would really that are glaring standouts from a sort of captaincy point of view. I think that's always what you look for. First of all, who am I going to captain this week? Spurs at home to Wolves. Wolves don't concede too many goals, but Spurs at home are pretty formidable. So Son, Kane. I don't know how many people still have Kane after the mass exodus to Haaland, but those two would be decent shouts in that one, and maybe Arsenal at Bournemouth as well.
Yeah,
I think so. We still expect Bournemouth to be a struggling team overall. I think that's a good option as well. Especially
with Arsenal playing a similar type of football to City, you expect them, probably not as a high quality chances, but you expect them to, especially in the form they're given, they could probably get 2 or 3 goals in past Bournemouth. Yeah, definitely, and Forest as well at Everton. Everton struggling at the moment. How genuine are Forest this season? And guys like we're talking about Nico Williams, this would be a good show if he can put 2 good back-to-back weeks together. We'll see what he's like as a true FPL asset. Yeah.
And especially with rumours of Chelsea wanting to grab Gordon, you know, Everton are fucking starved of attacking assets. Like, there's not much there to pick from because I don't think DCL will be back.
Yeah, but it's a weird one going after Gordon, Chelsea. I don't really get that one.
Yeah,
to be
seems
honest.
a lot of teams do like him. I guess he's versatile, but yeah, I don't get the hype either.
Normally you see big six teams wait on guys like that. They don't take that early plunge on a young talent. They let one of those sort of second tier Premier League teams, you know, like your Leicesters, and teams like that, or used to be Everton as well. They'd pick them up, and if they hit the ground running at those clubs, then they'll make the big 80 million move to a top six side.
Yeah, and you think with Everton, you know, probably in a relegation scrap, if they go down, you can get him for a cut price next season. And I don't think he's a definite need to anyway. He's going to be a squad player anyway. So it is a strange one.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be a great move for him personally. I don't think there's any rush for him to make that move. And outside of that, looks like a lot of closely contested matches in this game week, from what I can see.
Yeah, very kind of similar setups like Fulham, Brentford. That could go either way. Leicester City and Southampton. Southampton can either get smashed or they can actually cause
Put a
window.
brilliant performance together. Yeah, Liverpool, Man United's. I know a lot of people are getting behind Liverpool assets now. They see that as like a real sort of banker. I'm not too sure about that. I know United are struggling, but it's still, you know, it's Liverpool United. I have to believe that United will show a bit of resilience, not get battered or so. I don't know. I have to believe that. I don't think it's going to be as easy for Liverpool as people potentially think. I don't know.
I feel like you have more faith in United than two United fans.
Well, to be fair, I get that because I think if we were talking about Arsenal from a couple of years ago, I think it'd be the same thing, but switched around. I think I'd be horribly pessimistic.
I think based on last season, I know even though Man United were changing managers, Salah got 43 points against us.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Yeah. Yeah,
it's the same squad. There's no difference.
It is the same squad. We'll see. We'll see what Ten Hag's plan is.
I think Man City versus Newcastle, not in terms of FPL, I think that'd be an interesting one to see. Because Newcastle didn't perform that well against Brighton. They're at home, and this is a good gauge, you know, for Newcastle, and they have more of a stubborn defense that Man City have not faced this season. Who did they face first match? I'm trying to remember now.
Who, Man City?
Yeah.
West Ham.
Oh, West Ham. Oh, okay. So it's a bit similar.
Yeah. Well, I think Newcastle are way better than West Ham defensively. Yeah. And, you know, we keep looking out for Haaland as well.
And we'll go on to our first player on the watch list, which is Rodrigo. A surprise entry, really. Last season, he was quite in the peripheral for Leeds. But this season, 8 shots, 7 in the box. That's the second highest out of all game players. 3 goals at 1.3 xG, 4 shot creations, and he's playing as a 10. You know, he sometimes plays wide, sometimes plays up front, but it's 10, and he's classified as a midfielder as well. Because I thought he was going to be a striker, and I checked. I was like, oh, he's a midfielder.
I think he was a striker last season.
Yeah,
I think he was. Everyone considered him a striker when he joined. I remember being very excited when he joined Leeds. Certainly in FPL terms, I thought it'd be a real asset, and then it turned out that Bamford was still going to be the number 9, and Rodrigo always seemed to either play just behind him or, like you said, wide. And we've kind of been waiting for him to get going. He's shown flashes. Maybe this is the season for him because Bamford's injured again, right?
I think so.
Yeah, he came off.
The glory days of Bamford as an FPL option, I think, are gone.
And Leeds look to their kind of at least attacking best. At least they do seem they can probably score against anyone on their day.
Yeah. And I think you still steer well clear of their defenders, but their attacking players, I think they're going to score a lot of goals. seem to be staying true to this sort of new leads that we see now.
Yeah, he's definitely like my number one pick for Neto. If Neto keeps squandering or keeps trying to dribble into the goal, it's going to be Rodrigo taking his place. On to our next player who did really well against United. He got 1 goal, 2 assists so far, 7 shot career actions, 6 key passes, and a very nice fixture list. You know, Fulham, Everton, Leeds, Southampton all can concede against Brentford.
Yeah, I love Brentford's fixtures. That's why I've kept Mbumo. In fact, I think that's what a large part of the reason why I picked Mbumo from the start of the season. I know they had a couple of tricky-ish ones away to Leicester, home to United, on paper to start the season, but I felt after a few weeks he'd really come in as an option. And Tony, I think he still has that sort of, does he get enough goals? If he just scored a few more goals, he would be almost nailed on FPL option, because he's so vital to the way that Brentford play. Him and Bumo's partnership up front is so good. Yeah. They are almost always central to what they do, and yet they only ever seem to be getting assists for it. You know, it seems to be the midfielders that actually get the goals. Frustratingly,
it's a third man runs really. But Tony's a real creative force. You know, we talked about, I think, last season where he scored tons of goals in the Championship, and then he showcased his hold up play, kind of creative. That pass for Mboma goal against United was great.
Oh, perfect pass. I like him. What's his price? 7
million.
Yeah. So I still personally would go in Mbumo just, you know, for that 1 million. I think he will get just as many kind of assists. Maybe Tony will get a couple more goals, but I see them both as pretty similar kind of options.
Yeah, definitely see that.
The issue with Mbemo is that he always hit the post every other shot.
Yeah,
didn't go wide.
Yeah, if his finishing was just a little bit better, he'd probably be up in the 7 millions as well.
Well, from one non-finisher to another, Reece James scored last game. He seems guaranteed for minutes, either right centre back, which doesn't seem to stop him going flying forward anyway. Right wing back, third highest shots for defenders, and his spot permanent if Fofana comes in. Good fixtures too.
That's a good point. We got excited about Reece James last year, and then he had those sort of periods where he'd do nothing.
He's all or nothing, really.
Yeah, he is to an extent. Yeah, and Chelsea do seem still really solid defensively, which I still think is crucial, even when talking about fullbacks that can get goals and assists. Do they get clean sheets? Chelsea still do get clean sheets. Koulibaly is probably an upgrade on Rudiger. They've not just replaced Rudiger; they've upgraded on him. So Chelsea defenders, I think, are genuine assets.
I also think the fact that the wing backs are so important to the Chelsea system. They're always going to have like any defensive player nowadays is a portion of being substituted or missing a game or two. But I think ultimately, like, he will have the share of the minutes wherever he plays, and then most importantly, in terms of like attacking points, he'll always fly up. He'll always try and put in the cross. He's on multiple set pieces. He knows how to get up front. He's quite rapid as well to bomb on the counter. So I think like James is just a great player. He always seems to, chip in with assists or goals here or there. And if not, Chelsea's a great defense with some good fixtures coming up. Leeds, Leicester, Southampton. So, minimum of 2 or 3 clean sheets in the next 5 games, I would say, against Bournemouth as well in the next 5. So I think he's a great choice, and you're pretty much getting like a high quality midfielder at 6 million. Which is why I'm really keen on him.
Should be noted that both Chelsea's goal scorers against Tottenham were defenders. They still seem to have issues getting goals from their actual attacking players. So, defenders might be attacking options for Chelsea. Yeah.
Lovely. The next pick is Ben Rama. It's a bit of a off-field pick. Against Nottingham Forest, he had 10 shot creations, which was the highest that game week. 14 progressive carries. And we all know Ben Rama, not very consistent, a bit of issues for West Ham, but he's a very streaky player, and if he hauls in a few matches, you can expect him to carry on. He's very much a confidence player.
Yeah, I think we said that. We did a preview show before the season started, and we spoke about Ben Rama, and we spoke about how he can be streaky, but he seems bang on it to start the season. His performance against Forest was pretty unbelievable, really. He was how West Ham didn't score at all, but how he wasn't involved in anything, goal scoring wise, is I can't explain it, to be honest. It feels like the right time to bring him in, because I think he's going to be starting over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Tricky-ish fixtures for West Ham.
Yeah, but it's true. It is West Ham. They can turn it on.
They are a team that last year scored a lot of goals. They could always score goals. Bowen has been a bit off to start the season, so more love for Ben Rama for me, because he's looked on it.
14 progressive carries is massive.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
10 shot 10 SCA is huge.
Yeah, it's massive.
That's massive. Those are crazy.
He was unbelievable in that game. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Interesting.
His numbers were same as Trent and Salah had 9 each. So
yeah,
he's got in his locker. So Matt, as the leader of this game week, what was your transfer plan?
Nothing. I'm gonna sit on it. I'm gonna stack that transfer, and if
boring. Boo. -8.
if I need to use it, I need to use it. I think the only thing I'm on my immediate sort of list, like heading into next week, would be Grealish. If he blanks again, I think I might be looking to move him, and that extra transfer just gives me the flexibility. If I upgrade him, I'll downgrade somewhere else, or vice versa.
Yep. Just
gives me that flexibility without having to take a minus. I'm happy with my team. I still, I feel confident in that midfield. Son, Diaz, Saka, all three of them have sort of had quietish moments to start the season. But I feel long term that they will all haul enough for me.
That's a fair point. I think for me, I am going opposite last week. No -4. A very simple transfer just to save money. I knew Bailey was going to go down, so I made the transfer pretty much as soon as game week was over. Saved a few of the price drops. And I got De Silva, who Prost rose, so I've got some money in the bank now. He's not the greatest pick. I just kind of picked him. He's got some minutes, he's got some goals, but he definitely is overachieving on his goal ratio, and he's definitely a minute risk. But I think I just need that money. I kind of need to play a little bit safe, maybe a couple more weeks, just kind of figure out my plan for the big players like Robertson, Saka, and then I can sort of go ahead with my future.
Did he start against United?
Yeah, he scored. He scored the one that De Gea spilled.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah.
What's his price? 6.5?
4.5.
No, 4.6.
Oh,
4.6 now.
Yeah.
Oh, he's 4.6 now. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense then.
Yeah, so I got 0.9 in the bank now, so happy days. Money. JC, what about you? What's your transfer this week?
All the money in the world can't buy back the -4. So I had 2.4 million in the bank. Obviously swapping out Kane to Nunez. I think I might just keep Nunez on the bench for the following the red card, and I think I'm going to look at doing a Patterson to James move. For me, I just can't hold off the effective ownership. This is more a tactical play rather than like I would say like an emotional play. I would say I don't really want James, but sometimes you just got to play the numbers. If James scored, for example, my rank went down 1 million. No, not 1 million. Sorry, like maybe 600,000 ish. I went from like 800k to 1.5, so went down quite a bit. And you just got to keep up with all the other players at the early points. And I'm just trying to fix kind of the holes in my squad. Obviously, if I kept Kane, I would have been in a much better place. But I made that transfer. There's no point,
I don't think you're wrong thinking long term. Nunes is just as good, if not a better option. And if he's as good an option and 2 million cheaper, I think that's a no-brainer. Bringing him in. That's a nice upgrade as well. Being able to get Reece James in. So you doubled up on Chelsea now, haven't you?
Yeah, Chelsea and Cucurella. So Justin, I would imagine at least one of those two would play in whatever position.
I'd be shocked if both of them were dropped in the same game week.
Yeah, I think because Chilwell's still not firing, I think Cucurella's a safe bet. And I guess the only thing, if Fofana comes in, it's good for Reece James, but also Cucurella, because he's kind of flexibility, he can play left centre back. It sort of be sometimes if Chilwell does get the headed start, it'd be kind of Cucurella or Fofana. So that'd be interesting to see which one Tuchel goes with more often than not.
And then you've also got to remember Champions League starts like super early this year.
True.
And the fixture congestion is massive. So
yeah, I saw something after game week 5. I want to say that first where there's a midweek Premier League game.
Yep.
From then onwards, the top 5, I think 5 of the top 6 are playing twice a week every week.
That's crazy.
So there we will start to. It's been a fairly quiet start to the season. Lineups have been fairly predictable. I think there's going to be some pain, and that's why I still think go for the squad of 15. Your move there, Jay, going Patterson to James. I like that move. That gives you that sort of rotation option within your team. Obviously, once Nunes is back from suspension, that is. But...
yeah, I'm still considering moving him out. I'm just not 100% sure what I want to do. I have how much? I'm just trying to see how much I have in the bank. 0.4. So yeah, not a lot. So I think Matt, you're right. Like I really want to do a full 15, and that's where like these 4 million players come in.
Yeah,
Patterson, Williams, Andreas. Like I feel like they're going to be really important. Silver, yeah, exactly. Like they're going to be really important. What questions for my team is like what I want to do with Bailly, because I'm not quite sure now. Haven't really thought of it, given the price decrease. But at some point, I need to make a decision because I don't think there'll be a lot of viable 4.5 midfielders outside of Andreas.
No, and I really don't think Bailey's just going to suddenly start hitting the ground running. He let me down last year. That's why I didn't even go near him this year.
Yeah.
You could have told us, Matt. You could have told us.
I don't think
I told you.
I'm sure I did mention it.
This is all just psychological games. Like we're all just telling each other bad information. No, it's really good. Really good.
Triple Captain Iverson.
Oh god.
All right, guys. Well, that was our show. That was our proposed plans. And we'll catch you next week. Hopefully, you'll have good game weeks and we'll be smiling. All right. Ciao.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck, guys.